වීඩියෝ ඇමතුම්ද සමග මැසෙන්ජර් සේවාවන් රැසකට සහ POTV Go සඳහා නොමිලේ ඩේටා ශ්‍රී ලංකා ටෙලිකොම්.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජි රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට ඒක
Tonight, forced change. The entire country will be under lockdown on the coming weekend as the government revises curfew timings. Course for caution. 33 fresh COVID-19 cases detected, marking Sri Lanka's highest in a single day. Dispelling fears. The central bank gives clarifications over remittance of funds to Sri Lankans abroad. Brewing tension. An election commission member dismisses chairman's plan for polls. All that and much more coming up on First at 9, this Monday the 20th of April 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
ඔය 69යි 97ට SMS කර රුපියල් මිලියන 3ක මුල්තැන්ගේ උපකරණ දිනාගෙන අවුරුද්දෙම කුස්සිය ටයිම් සේව් කරගන්න.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammik Ekanaika. Now, 33 cases of COVID-19 infections were reported in the country today, marking the highest number of patients reported in a single day to date. 32 of them were identified from the area of Keselwatte in Colombo, which has been declared as an isolated area. Now, today's additions send the country's total number of infections past 300. It also has to be said, I should say, that 2 COVID-19 patients were discharged from hospital as well.
24 persons infected with COVID-19 were identified this morning from the Bandaranaike Mawatha in Keselwatte of Colombo 12. All of them, however, were in a state of quarantine when their infections were discovered. Later in the day, 9 more cases were detected, among which 8 were from the area of Keselwatte. It brings the total number of infections identified from the area to 47, while shooting the country's total number of infections to 304. The first carrier of COVID-19 in the area was identified on the 15th of April after she sought medical assistance with the onset of COVID-19 symptoms. She was a returnee from India and the PCR tests conducted on the 17th confirmed that her husband and 2 sons had also contracted the virus. The following day, 6 more people were confirmed to have contracted the virus after having direct contacts with the family infected with COVID-19. PCR tests carried out yesterday confirmed that 15 persons in the neighbouring houses have also been infected.
මේ කට්ටියගේ කිසිම ලක්ෂණයක් නොමුණුතුනත් මේ කාන්තාව හින්දා අපි වහාම PCR පරීක්ෂණ කිරීමටත් ඔවුන් රැගෙන යාමටත් කටයුතු කරලා තිබෙනවා. එතනින් 15ක් හම් වෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව තව එක පුද්ගලයෙක් අන්තිමට හම්බුණ පුද්ගලයා එයා ඇවිල්ලා මේ කාන්තාවගේ ස්වාමි පුරුෂයාගේ ළඟින් ඇසුරු කරපු පුද්ගලයෙක් ඔහුවත් නිරෝධාන්ට ලක් කරලා තිබ පුද්ගලයෙක්.
Colombo continues to be at the top of the list with the most number of COVID-19 cases, and with the latest detections, the number has shot up to 110. In the other districts classified as high-risk zones, 45 were reported from Kalutara, 35 from Putlam, 32 from Gampaha and 16 from the Jaffna district.
විශේෂයෙන් මේ මැද කොළඹ ප්‍රදේශයේ මේ වෙනකොට වාර්තා වෙන පිරිස් එක්කෙනෙක්වත් රෝග ලක්ෂණ සහිතව නෙමෙයි වාර්තා වෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා පාලනයේ අභියෝගයක්. නමුත් ඒ අභියෝගේ ජය ගන්න අවශ්‍ය කරන සැලසුම් සකස් කිරීම සෞඛ්‍ය අංශවල සහ අනිත් අංශවල වගකීමක්. ඊ දවසේ තුල තීරණයක් ගත්තා සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ විදිහට හමුදාවට සහ පොලිසියට ඒ අංශවල නිර්දේශ කරන්න නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථාන වලින් එළියට එන අය පවා අඩුම ගානේ දෙපාරක් PCR පරීක්ෂණ ලක් කරලා තමයි එළියට එන්නේ. කුරු විදිහට වාර්තා වෙන රෝගී පොකුරු ගාන අපේ පාලනයෙන් ගිලිහුනොත් එහෙම අපි රෝගේ පාලනය කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා. දැන් මොකද අපි ලෝකේ රෝග පාලනය සම්බන්ධයෙන් හොඳම ප්‍රශස්ත මොඩලයක් විදිහට අපි පාවිච්චි කරපු රටක් තමයි සිංගප්පූරුව. එදා නමුත් අද වෙනකොට සිංගප්පූරුව තුළ පාලනය ක්‍රමයෙන් ගිලිහෙමින් තියෙනවා. ඒකට ප්‍රධානම හේතුව තමයි අපි දකින මේ රෝගී පොකුරු සංඛ්‍යාව අසාමාන්‍ය ලෙස ඉහළ යාම. දැන් අපිට තියෙන්නේ අතේ ඇඟිලි වලින් ගණන් කරන්න පුළුවන් සංඛ්‍යාවක පොකුරු ගන්න. ඒ නිසා තාම අපිට පාලනය කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා පරීක්ෂණ කළා රෝගීන් හරියට නියදි හඳුනගෙන පාලනය කළොත් විතරයි පොකුරු සංඛ්‍යාව පාලනය කරන්න පුළුවන්.
During the first 10-day period since the detection of the country's first COVID-19 case, 72 infections were reported, while 60 cases were reported during the second 10-day period. During the next 10-day period, 58 cases of infection were identified, and in fourth, which concluded yesterday, 81 infections were reported from the island. Despite the rise in the coronavirus infections, there is also some good news. 2 COVID-19 patients were discharged from hospital today after making full recoveries. It brings the country's number of recoveries to 98, reducing the number of active cases to 198. In the meantime, the Attorney General's department located in Halsdorf have been temporarily closed. The move came after a security officer deployed at the department purchased food from a house where 2 people were diagnosed with COVID-19. Additional Solicitor General of the AG's Department President's Counsel Sumati Dharmavardhana has informed the Judicial Service Commission that the department was temporarily shut for disinfection. Meanwhile, Sri Lankan expatriates unable to return to Sri Lanka due to the closure of airports and travel suspensions expressed views to AdaDerana requesting repatriation. Attention of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was drawn towards the matter, and a special program was implemented to bring back Sri Lankan expatriates. As the first phase of the program, a charter flight will be deployed tomorrow to bring back Sri Lankan expatriates from India and Pakistan. Meanwhile, a relative of the first COVID-19 patient from Kesalvatha, who is also a VIP security guard of the Air Force, is voluntarily undergoing the self-isolation process, having visited the COVID-19 patient. Public health inspectors of the area had directed him to the Karapitia Teaching Hospital in Galle to perform a PCR test. Meanwhile, 790 persons from 168 families who had come into contact with the COVID-19 infected living in Sri Janamavata in Nathidia were made to self-quarantine on the 5th of this month, while 34 directed to the Poonani quarantine facility. The group of 34 returned to their homes today after completing the 14-day quarantine process.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
Now, this is news just in. The media unit of the Election Commission says that the Election Commission has fixed a date to hold the general election 2020. Now, accordingly, the Commission has decided to hold the parliamentary polls on Sunday, the 20th of June. Earlier in the day, I should say, it came to light that Professor S. Ratnadevan Hool, a member of the Election Commission, had objected to the Commission Chief's proposal to set 28th of May as the date for polls.
With political tension building around unspecified details of a parliamentary election, Chairman of the Election Commission Mahinda Deshapriya took to Facebook today, expressing his stance on the current dilemma. He said that neither him nor the Election Commission would follow a course of action that would entail revealing details of the debates and other sensitive information that take place within the Commission to the public via social media. Accordingly, he says that his views cannot be expressed at present and went on to say that while the Election Commission discusses a course of action that can be followed during the prevailing situation and the alternatives that can be followed, it is the Commission that possesses the power to set a date and decide when it could postpone elections. Thereby, through his post on Facebook, Deshapriya stated that the Commission will consider creating a favourable environment for a free, fair, transparent and a credible election. In the meantime, Professor S. Ratnajeevan Hoole, who is one of the 3 members of the Election Commission, has submitted a letter to the Commission expressing his aversion to the Commission Chief Mahinda Deshapriya's proposal to set the 28th of May for the polls, with the possibility of the polls being postponed if the coronavirus pandemic persists. In the letter dated 16th, the professor states that the chairman of the Election Commission made the proposal when Deshapriya called him seeking confirmation of his attendance for the meeting scheduled for today. In the letter, Professor Hoole says that a date for the election should not be set until it can be confirmed that by doing so, the lives of people and their health would not be jeopardized. He even goes on to list 7 reasons justifying his stance. In the meantime, a meeting was held between officials of the health sector and representatives of the Election Commission at the Election Commission today.
මැතිවරණයකට යන්න සූදානමක් තියෙනවා ඒකට යයිද එතකොට
මැතිවරණ කොමිෂන් සභාව තමයි ඒක තීරණය කරන්නේ. අප ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම ඔවුන්ට සහායක් දැක්වීම තමයි අප විසින් කරනු ලබන්නේ.
මොකද තීරණයකට ආවද?
සෞඛ්‍යමය විදිහට දෙන්න පුළුවන් උපදෙස්. සෞඛ්‍ය පැත්තෙන් දෙයක් කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් තියනවාද කියන එක විතරයි සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේ.
දැන් වසංගතත්වයේ අදත් වැඩිවීමක් නේ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
දැනට අපි රෝගීන් සොයාගන්නේ අපේ ආශ්‍රිතයින්ගේනේ. ඔහුත් එක්ක ළඟම ඇසුරු කරපු අයගේ තමයි රෝගියාගේ අය තමයි අපි සොයා ගැනීමක් කරන්නේ. ඒතර අපිට සංඛ්‍යාව වැඩි වගේ පේන්නේ අර අපි ගොඩක් සාම්පල් ගන්නවනේ අවට ඔක්කොම ඉන්න නිවෙස් වලින් ඒ සේරගෙම. ඔය එතකොට ඒ අය අතරේ දැන් ඔය අර කොළඹ අර මේ බණ්ඩාරනායක මාවත කියන එක ගොඩක් ජනාකීර්ණ තැනක්නේ. ඔය එතන ජීවත් වෙන පරිසරය අනුව අපි දකිනවා ඒ අයගෙන් අවට නිවෙස් වල ළඟම අයට ගියපු ස්වභාවයක්. ඒක තමයි අපි මේ දවස්වල අධ්‍යයනය කරන්නේ.
මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මැතිවරණයකට යාම සම්බන්ධයෙන් මොන වගේ
මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස්තුමා තමයි මේ පිළිබඳව තීරණය කරන්නේ.
Members of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya too met with representatives of the Election Commission today.
අපිට ඔවුන් කිව්වා හෙට උදේ 10 මාරට ප්‍රධාන දේශපාලන පක්ෂවල නායකයන්ව හම්බෙන්න මහින්ද දේශප්‍රිය මේ කමිෂන ජෙනරල් තුමා තීරණය කරලා තියෙනවා කියලා දෙකකට කඩලා හම්බෙනවා කියලා කිව්වා. ආසන නෙමෙයි දිස්ත්‍රික්ක 10කට වඩා නාම යෝජනා දීලා තියෙන කට්ටිය එක මීටිමකටත් ඊට පස්සේ අනිත් කට්ටියත් හම්බ වෙනවා කියලා.
මාර්යාගේ මැතිවරණයක් පවත්වන්න එපා කියන ඉල්ලීම තමයි අපිට කරන්න තිබ්බා. අපිට හුස්ම ගන්න ටිකක් ඉඩ දෙන්න. මිනිස්සුන්ට මුඛවාඩම් දාගෙන ඡන්ද කරන්න බෑ. මේ ඉල්ලීම තමයි අපි සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ විදියට මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස්තුමාට ඉදිරිපත් කළේ.
නිෂ්පාදිත දිනයේ කවදත් අලුත් වටවල තේ අරගන්න.
වටවල තේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ තේ එක.
Now, the government has revised its decision to relax the curfew in the Western Province and in the Putlam district. The latest statement from the President's Media Division states that curfew in those respective areas will not be lifted until Monday the 27th. What's more, the entire country will be under curfew during the coming weekend.
The timings of the curfew imposition and lift was amended today, which saw changes to the previously announced timings. Accordingly, the ongoing curfew in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Putlam will remain in force until 5 a.m. on Monday the 27th of April. It was previously said that the curfew will be relaxed on the 22nd in the 4 relevant districts. As for all the other districts where curfew was lifted today at 5 a.m. and reimposed at 8 p.m., the curfew will continue to be in effect until Friday, the 24th of April. However, the curfew will be lifted at 5 a.m. and brought into effect at 8 p.m. each day. In addition to this, once the curfew comes into effect in 21 districts at 8 p.m. on Friday the 24th, the entire country will be under curfew over the weekend until the curfew is lifted at 5 a.m. on Monday the 27th. What's more, travelling to and from the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Putlam is completely prohibited for every citizen. Meanwhile, conditions and guidelines announced earlier on the continuation of essential services and agricultural activities will remain unchanged.
Now, civilian life took some semblance of normalcy today, with the curfew temporarily being lifted in 21 districts. Unlike previous occasions, the window of free movement started at 5 a.m, with it coming to a close at 8 p.m. With the risk of a possible spread of the coronavirus very much a reality, members of the public were urged to adhere to social distancing protocols, especially when using public transport. The day, however, was not without other peculiarities. Now, with people prevented access to liquor for weeks, there were long queues at liquor stores.
The curfew was relaxed in 21 districts in the country today, with the exception of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Putlam districts. After the curfew was lifted at 5 a.m, people flocked to towns and cities as they sought to restock essential supplies. Although Colombo and Gampaha districts are still under curfew, heavy traffic was observed in the area of Paliagoda. Meanwhile, private and the SLTB buses commenced transportation services in areas where the curfew was relaxed. Bus drivers and the conductors were informed by the authorities to board only 25 passengers for a single journey, with the aim of observing social distancing protocols. With that being the case, people boarded most buses, adhering to social distancing protocols. In some instances, however, it was not the case. Police had to remove passengers from buses as they were overcrowded without paying heed to social distancing. With that being the case, there were criticisms from members of the public saying that the number of buses deployed is insufficient.
ඇඳිරි නීතිය ඉවත් කළ ප්‍රදේශවල මගීන් එහා මෙහා ගෙන යාම ලංගමට පමණක් කළ හැකි කාර්යයක් නෙමෙයි. මගීන් 25කට සීමා කිරීම යටතේ පෞද්ගලික බස් හිමියන්ට යම් පාඩු සහගත තත්ත්වයක් ඇති වෙනවායි කියන කාරණේ සමහරක් වෙලාවට ඩීසල් වියදමවත් පියව ගන්න බැරි වෙනවද කියන කාරණේ වගේම දීර්ඝ කාලයක් බස් රථ ධාවනය කරන්න බැරි වෙච්ච නිසා ඒ පාඩුවත් එයාට තියෙනවා කියන කාරණේ බස් සංගම් වලින් ඉදිරිපත් වුණා. ඉතින් විශේෂයෙන් අපි එයාට උපදෙස් දුන්නා බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමත් එයා ධාවනය කරන කිලෝමීටර් ප්‍රමාණය සටහන් කරගෙන ධාවනය කරන්න කියන කාරණේ දැනට ඉදිරියේදී යම් සහනයක් අපි ඉන්ධන මගින් හෝ සලස්සන්න පුළුවන්ද කියන කාරණේ පිළිබඳව මේ වෙනකොට සාකච්ඡාවක් ආරම්භ වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Meanwhile, railway services too operated in districts where the curfew was relaxed this morning, completing 4 journeys. Ministry of Passenger Transport Management also gave confirmation that measures are taken to provide transport in the districts where curfew is relaxed. In the meantime, the Road Development Authority also took measures to keep the Southern Expressway open from 7 am to 7 pm today. Another point of note today was the opening of liquor shops following a considerable hiatus. The Excise Department yesterday gave the go-ahead for liquor shops to do business during non-curfew hours from today. With that being the case, long queues were seen near liquor shops in few areas.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ඉල්ලීමක් කරන රජයෙන් නැවත හිතලා බලන්න මේ තැබෑරුම් අරින්න ගත්ත තීරණය. මේක ඊටාම වැරදි තීරණයක් විදිහට අපි දකිනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි අත්‍යවශ්‍ය සේවා පවත්වා ගැනීම සඳහා ජන ජීවිතය පවත්වා ගැනීම සඳහා ඇඳිරි නීතිය ලිහිල් කළා නම් තැබෑරුම් අරිනවා කියන එකේ පදනම අපිට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා රජයේ වෛන්දාරික සංඝ විදිහට අපි ඉල්ලනවා බොහොම කාරුණිකව සහ ගෞරවයෙන් අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාගෙන් නැවත සමාලෝචනය කරන්න මේ තැබෑරුම් අරිනවායි කියන තීරණය. මේ රෝග තත්ත්වයේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගත්තාම විශේෂ අවදානම් කණ්ඩායමක් තමයි දුම්පානය කරන අය. ඒ නිසා අපි ඇඳිරි නීතිය ලිහිල් කළත් අපි විශේෂයෙන් මේ රටේ කඩ හිමියන්ගෙන් ඉල්ලනවා තමන්ගේ කඩේ එහෙම නැත්නම් තමන්ගේ අලවිසැලේ සිගරට් විකුණන එක తాවකාලිකව හෝ නවත්තන්න රජය මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් නීති ගේනකම්.
In the meantime, state institutions too recommenced work today in areas where curfew was relaxed, albeit with a limited staff. In the 21 districts where the curfew was reimposed at 8 pm, after a 13-hour window of free movement today, we'll see the restriction being lifted yet again at 5 am tomorrow. In the meantime, it was decided to suspend court hearings temporarily in few of the courts at the Halfsdorf Court Complex until the 24th of this month. The decision was arrived at since the area of Kesselvatta, which is in close proximity to the court complex, was declared a COVID-19 high-risk zone. In line with the decision of the Judicial Service Commission, the Sri Lanka Bar Association stated that the High Court of Civil Appeal, High Court of the Provinces, Commercial High Court, District Court and the Chief Magistrates Court will not function. During that time period, suspects to be produced before the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court are to be produced before the Fourth Magistrates Court. The BASL also stated that the Court of Appeal will not function tomorrow and lawyers who filed appeals can obtain a new date through the court registrar. Meanwhile, the Judicial Service Commission issued a circular yesterday with regard to resumption of work in view of curfew's relaxation in certain areas.
We will see you shortly after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that the efforts taken to curb the COVID-19 virus have been immensely successful, as many of the new patients are reported from quarantine centres or from places that were subjected to lockdown or isolation. He made these remarks during a meeting that was held between the President and the district secretaries today.
During a meeting held today with district secretaries, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pointed out that the measures taken to curb the spread of COVID-19 are now bearing fruit, as many of the infected patients that are currently being reported are from quarantine facilities and areas that have been subjected to lockdown or isolation. During the discussion, attention was drawn towards forming a mechanism that would combine all the districts, enabling purchase, storage and distribution of agro-products throughout the country. The head of state also said that an institution similar to the Fisheries Corporation should be established so that agricultural produce can be purchased. During the talks, district secretaries told the president that vegetable retailers have been enabled to make purchases directly from farmers, which benefits both sides. They added that legal regulations should be put in place to strengthen this process.
කර්මාන්ත කරුවන්ට දිරිමත් කරනවා මේ දේශීය කර්මාන්තවලට එන්න කියලා. ඒ කාර්යයේදී එයාගේට අවශ්‍ය උදව් පුළුවන් තරම් දෙන්න. ඒකම මේක නිසා නැති වෙලා තියෙන රැකියා ස්වයං රැකියා පිළිබඳවත් අධ්‍යයනයක් කරලා සමස්තයක් වශයෙන් අර ජන ජීවිතය යථා තත්ත්වයට ගෙනීමට මොන විදියටද රජයක් හැටියට අපිට උදව් කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ කියන එක ගැන ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙලා කරන එක තාමත්ම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය වෙනවා මේ ඉදිරි මාස කිහිපය තුල.
AdaDerana is forging ahead with its relief program geared to reduce the burden on the people affected by the prevailing curfew. Today, AdaDerana provided fruits to the staff which conducts PCR tests at the Medical Research Institute in Boralla and the Sri Jayawardhanapura General Hospital. Furthermore, AdaDerana also launched a program to provide medical equipment to hospitals which treat COVID-19 patients with the collaboration of LOLC Holdings. Accordingly, medical equipment was given to the Peradeniya Hospital. Furthermore, this program with LOLC is to be conducted further. Now, in view of Sri Lankans who have gone abroad for short visits for holidays, business purposes and on student or equivalent visas, the central bank has made several clarifications with regards to remittance of funds to Sri Lankans abroad. The bank states that family members residing in Sri Lanka are permitted to send money from Sri Lanka to persons who have gone abroad for studies or for medical purposes, being university tuition, training, course fees, living expenses, medical charges, or as any related fees, etc., through an authorized dealer in foreign exchange upon submitting relevant documentary evidence as usually required by authorized dealers. What's more, such persons can also use their credit or debit and foreign travel cards issued to them by authorized dealers for payments or cash withdrawals or obtain cash advances in foreign currency during their stay abroad in respect of transactions of personal nature. The CBSL also notes that recently introduced measures such as reducing the maximum limit of foreign currency notes issued for travel purpose and restrictions on outward remittances on capital transactions do not impose any restrictions on remittances or payments for current transactions, including overseas educational, medical and family living expenses. The CBL reiterates that there is no hindrance to provide any additional financial assistance to identified categories of Sri Lankans currently abroad to meet their basic needs at this time of difficulty. The Colombo Stock Exchange has called for disclosures from listed companies setting out the impact of COVID-19 on relevant entities. In a communique, the CSE said that shareholders and investors are closely monitoring the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on the business performance and operations of the listed companies and expect the companies to provide meaningful and accurate information in a proactive manner. While acknowledging the difficulty in forecasting the outlook with the pandemic still continuing, the CSE said that it is expected that the listed companies give due consideration in making a timely disclosure to the investing public in this regard. Taking such factors into consideration, the CSE calls on listed companies to make a disclosure to the market as a matter of priority, setting out the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the business and operations of the listed company. Each listed company must also provide their response to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and their expectation of the future impact of COVID-19 on the company's future operations and the financial condition. In the meantime, Colombo Stock Exchange also adds that it will not recommence trading on Wednesday, the 22nd, as previously announced. Now, the decision to postpone the recommencement of trading comes following the government's decision to extend the curfew in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttlam until the 27th of April. Now, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has introduced a new refinance facility for the businesses adversely affected by COVID-19 pandemic. The CBSL announced that the bank, under the instructions of the government, has introduced Saubhagya COVID-19 Renaissance Facility for such businesses under the Saubhagya loan scheme. The facility is implemented by the Regional Development Department of the Central Bank, covering all licensed banks in the island. The maximum loan limit is 2 months working capital requirement at an interest rate of 4% per annum. The borrowers will have a maximum duration of 24 months, including the 6-month grace period to repay the loan. Now then, Sir Richard Branson has called for government assistance to save his Virgin Airlines while warning of the repercussions should Virgin Australia collapse. The boss of the Virgin Group said he was not asking for a handout but a commercial loan believed to be a sum of £500 million. In an open letter to staff, Sir Richard said that many airlines around the world need government support and many have already received it. The plea comes as Virgin Australia, the country's second largest airline, faces going into administration without aid. Sir Richard wrote in his letter that without UK government support for Virgin Atlantic, there won't be any competition left and hundreds and thousands of more jobs will be lost. We will see you again shortly after this break. Bear with us. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, taking a look at what's happening around the world, some countries which have brought the spread of COVID-19 under control have taken measures to ease their countrywide lockdowns and return to work. However, the people are still urged to adhere to safety guidelines as the risk still remains.
The novel coronavirus has so far conquered 210 countries and territories, killing 165,902 people. The total number of global infections are currently placed at 2,421,036, with the global recovery standing at 635,719. Countries across Europe continued to ease lockdown measures today, as a new report warned that up to a quarter of jobs on the continent are at risk in the economic fallout of the enveloping coronavirus crisis. A newly published report by the American consultancy firm McKinsey today warned that the COVID-19 pandemic could leave up to 59 million jobs at risk in Europe, a total of 27% of the workforce in the European Union and UK. In other parts of the world, South Koreans returned to work as the country relaxed social distancing rules amid a continued downward trend in coronavirus cases. Total infections in South Korea stood at 10,674, while total deaths are at 236. Germany also took steps to reopen their shuttered society, permitting small retail spaces to reopen alongside car dealerships, cycling stores and bookshops, while large shops remain closed. They have made it a must for people to wear masks while in public. Meanwhile, New Zealand PM Jacinda Ardern has thanked people for stopping an uncontrolled explosion of COVID-19 as she announced an easing of lockdown. The country has been praised for its quick and strict response to the virus and will move from level 4 lockdown to level 3 late next Monday. As USA is facing vulnerable effects of the COVID-19, US President Donald Trump said that the Republicans are close to getting a deal with Democrats on another legislative package to help alleviate economic damage done by the coronavirus pandemic. USA still remains as the most affected nation from the infection, reporting the highest number of infections and deaths. Death toll of Spain surpassed 20,800, while their total amount of infections stood at 200,210.
Now, a gunman has killed at least 16 people over a 12-hour rampage in the province of Nova Scotia in Canada. According to authorities, this is the worst act of mass murder the country has seen in more than 3 decades.
A gunman disguised as a policeman killed at least 16 people, including a female police officer, in the worst mass shooting in Canada's modern history. The 12-hour rampage started late on Saturday and ended with a car chase. Police said the suspect, identified as 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman, shot people at different locations in Nova Scotia. The suspect was later killed in a confrontation with police. He was reported to have been driving what looked like a police car. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau extended his condolences in a press conference held yesterday.
My hearts go out to everyone affected in what is a terrible situation. I want to thank the police for their hard work and people for cooperating with authorities.
And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.